What's going on now recording? Brianna Wu's on there talking to Beckett. Okay, let's get some sense of what's going on here. See some of the coverage leading up to it.
For that right moment. He tends to pick the right moment, but he hasn't been able to do it the past few years because he's just been completely like exposed as being a complete fraud. Yeah. So, all right, what's next? The shadow. All right, I brought this into the docket because I wanted your opinion on this, Beckett. This is Brianna Wu tweeting out, "This is my issue with Ordinary Gamers video on Keffals. Most people are understand that if you outlaw abortion, you're going to get back alley abortions that get women killed, but they can't make that same connection to gender-affirming healthcare for minors. His video spends a lot of time critiquing minors getting HRT without a prescription, but doesn't acknowledge the reality that healthcare options are extremely limited for trans people and being dismantled. My position is very clear. I want the system overhauled and improved because it's obviously not working. I want every child to have access to psychologists and
endocrinologist.
Yeah, and true assessment instead of kabuki theater assessment. If you're not advocating that and you are criticizing DIY healthcare, I don't think you're really serious about this as a public policy issue." So I think she completely missed the point of Muta's video. Muta's video was meant as to like expose the fact that she was interacting with people trying to get DIY into kids, and it was just like this weird thing happening. And I think she just completely missed the point of this. What's your opinion, Beckett?
So like I don't think it's a particular secret that I've got a lot of trans friends. Yeah, and like I think partly because I'm in Britain. I've got a huge amount of fucking sympathy for that community because I see what's happening here. Our government has just like banned DIY DIY HRT, I believe is what I was told recently. Mm-hmm. But part of it is like I was speaking to some of my trans friends about it, and they're like, "Okay, I get your concern, Beckett, that you're like this should be under prescription, but if you can't get a prescription, if you can't get like, you know, they were saying, well, like you'll go to a gender clinic and then they'll make a prescription, and then a doctor can like just deny that because some GPs won't follow through." Yeah, I think the system does need an overhaul, and I want to see people get the correct care. At the same time, I absolutely do not want any situation where minors are like put in this position or being encouraged to like take their healthcare into their own hands, especially in households where they aren't able to talk to their parents. I think this stuff is so fucking like it freaks me out. But also, I'm not a doctor. I don't know. And this is part of the problem with the whole conversation around fucking Keffals. Fuck, I sound really serious now because I guess I am. I hate this shit because I'm like, there is a clear need for actual fucking advocacy in certain things every now and again. And people like Keffals fuck things into the ground for everyone. They feed ammunition to crazy people, and also they muddy the waters on the other side and normalize potentially bad behaviors or unhealthy habits. Yeah, it's just like, and yeah, I guess that's I think that's a big part of it. Also, on the side note, I don't really want to agree with Wu for obvious reasons. Fucking hate Wu, but yeah, I think that's a, you know, I see the transphobia comments made about the artwork, for example. I'm like, this doesn't fucking help anybody. It's obviously not fucking transphobic. A casual glance through the artwork done for previous thumbnails will tell you it's not fucking transphobic. But when you spend all this time pushing this fucking narrative, it just makes everyone think you're fucking crazy, which is why, like, now, if you're in the middle ground of the left, people just bitch at you, and they're like, oh, well, you're probably tied in with the progressives. Same shit with Vosh. Like, you try and push, like you try and say something like left-wing now, and they're like, oh, well, do you also like fucking horses? Because, like, everything gets tied together in these weird fucking narratives. There you go. That's my one serious take. Okay. Let's never do it again.
No HRT for kids.
Yeah.
I think like you need. Yeah.
I don't really care.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
No HRT for children. That is my take.
What's next?
When they turn 18, they can chop their dicks off.
So, Keffals tweeted out, I understand people have criticisms of me.
So I'm smoking, so I'm like half listening. I fucking hate this take that people give. This retarded shit people constantly say, man. Oh, the worst thing about all these bad trans people is that they make the good trans people look bad. It's so stupid, man. It's so insufferable. It's like, it's insufferable on both sides, because it's like, on the progressive side, it's like, why are you making it incumbent upon individuals to represent their minority. That's a bizarre thing to do. That's crazy. That's a nuts thing to do. On the other side, it's like you shouldn't be conceding this idea that someone else's flaw in their thought process, like someone generalizing based on one thing they've seen, you shouldn't be conceding that as legitimate. And also, this isn't like a minority talking point. This isn't a minority talk. This isn't a tiny thing that a small amount of people believe. It is very broad in trans discourse right now to say it very broadly accepted that some trans minors just need trans minors when they're in caves. They need hormones sent down to them. They need hormones sent down to them in the mines, and we need to help get them out of the mines. We need to get the minors out away from their parents. And that's just like the broad narrative. It's like these conservative mines where all these trans minors are kept. We need to get them out. That is the accepted narrative. It's not just Keffals. It's not just Wu. This is what is pushed.
That said, was it really necessary to use a transphobic caricature of me in the thumbnail while also not using my pronouns in the video announcement? So, check this out. The video uploaded a new video regarding a serious fraud of an activist known as Keffals. Over an hour of deconstructing her various lies and examining her terrible lies will prove to you why she is a danger to people they represent and those surrounding them. Did Muta use the wrong pronouns anywhere in that paragraph?
No. Keffals is a woman. Correct?
Yeah. Now, what Keffals is trying to do is insinuate, because he said she is a danger to people they represent and those surrounding them, that the they, them...
Oh, shit, it's the middle binary stuff.
Her wrong pronouns. But that's so stupid because they, them is used generally. And it could mean I guess it could mean a gender, but it could also mean just, hey, they, them over there, like...
So yeah, there's been this weird fucking move recently of, oh well, you're saying they them to avoid sounding transphobic, and it's like it's obvious fucking code. Sometimes you don't know. Like it wasn't like that long ago where they were saying, oh,
I use they them because it's usually against platform TOS to misgender. That's me personally.
The safe thing to say is they them if you don't know someone's pronouns yet. And it's like, it's like all the response to this was not the video content for obvious reasons.
But they, them is neutral.
Yeah.
Right?
It's also non-binary.
Because my only other option is it's. Right?
Which is also non-binary.
The only other option that I have. It's worse.
But there's people that like to be called it's now. So it's like, I'm so confused. Like Maggot Edits likes to be called it's,
It's
okay. Well, I think that one's a joke.
No,
it has BPD.
Yeah, I know. I know like 3 different content creators now who like go by it's, or like people at least around the Twitch Pro community, and they're like, yeah, it's it, and I'm just like, it feels weird. It does feel weird. I struggle with it. I'm just like, fucking how?
I will not. I would. That is where I would draw the line. I would not refer to you as an it.
Yeah.
No. It's just went to the shop.
It's it.
Oh God.
Right, let's go to the next one, because this is something interesting here. No, hold on. Keffals says, I think if my actions themselves are heinous, you wouldn't need to dehumanize me to an audience of millions of people in order to make the points you wanted to make. The bar for this was incredibly low, and Mutahar managed to still fumble it. Anyways, I'm probably going to get harassed by thousands of people for standing up for myself now, so I'm going to go do something fun instead of that. See you all when it dies down. All right, go to the next one.
I'm trans.
Wait, okay, I can't deal with watching the Keffals. Yeah, in fact, it's just okay. We'll do the last little bit.
Can you go to the next one?
Not much left. Let's keep
I wish I was part of a
there it is.
Group.
Okay, check this out. All right, remember how she said that Muta was using the wrong pronouns? So Connor says, so Mutahar actually didn't use the incorrect pronouns, as Keffals claimed another lie to add on to the ever-building pile. And this is from 2022. My pronouns are she, her, or they, them, but I will never put pronouns in my bio because I refuse to give conservatives the ability to say pronouns in bio at me.
That's
so there you go.
Well, but this is where but this is where the goalpost gets shifted, man. Don't you understand? They've clearly decided separately. Unironically, okay, I can't believe I'm going to say this. This is literally the argument Peaches used against Lio, because Peaches was gender fluid, and then they were like, oh no, but then I settled on he them, and ever since then, without telling Lio, that's why Lio was misgendering him. This sort of shit is just weaponized. Yeah, fuck it. It's just weaponizing things for convenience.
Your pronouns may change daily.
Now look how like even in a hypothetical, Tipster can't like address the whole Keffals, because Cherry says, "I wish you would ditch Keffals, is how I feel about you," and Tipster says, "That's not going to happen, Cherry. I hope you understand that." To which Cherry says, "Even if she like raped someone, I assume there are some scenarios where you would ditch or cheated on or cheated on her wife with e-girls, but like actually did." And Tipster says, "That's one of those things that I would tackle if that happened. I don't like to think of my friends in hypotheticals like that. The same applies to you and my other friends, by the way." If you get caught raping somebody, I'm completely like, buddy.
Would you still be friends with me if I raped someone? No.
Trust me.
Okay, but what if they asked for it, Matthew? That makes even worse, Beavis. Trying to give you the context.
You're like, wait, Beavers, did this actually happen? Like, what? Like, you're really being detailed here. Like on the 2nd of August, on 2017.
Mate, on the 2nd of August, that's probably fine.
It was a Sunday.
Yeah. So this person right here is really bad faith. They're called TERFs Aren't Women. And they say, Mutahar is going to be dealing with the consequences with this video for several years. Here's the thing. This person, they got about 20K followers, did not watch the video at all. They've concentrated solely on the thumbnail and the follows and likes that Muta has been getting while the video's out. They all they're doing is fucking just cry bullying, basically. And then they did. I don't have this one on the docket, but then they're like, "Oh, people are sending me horrible videos." Like, how is that Mutahar's fault? Like, what do you? It's fucking stupid.
Oh my god! And then this was it Seko cut that was like, "Oh my god, I just ratioed him."
Yeah, yeah. And then I quote tweeted her. I think they're her. I quote tweeted her. And I just was like, I just said something.
I need to know, and it's important. Will you stand by me during my essay trial? I have a firm stance. So you can get away with anything if you're funny enough. So I say, if I think you'll be fine. Okay.
I'm kind of surprised that there's still people out there that are really defending Keffals to the death at this point. And they're like, "Oh, safe to," or "I'm glad you assume that I actually am a fan." You know, I have. It's like, why are you defending them then? Like, why? Like,
they have to. It's part of their mindset. They have to.
Yeah.
Because if they admit that one of the if they admit.
Let me get to the Wu stuff. Okay, I am ready for the Wu stuff now. I need to hear the Brianna Wu cope. That is what I'm here for. That's what I want. Oh, here we go.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah, sure.
Hello.
What's up, Brianna?
Hello? Brianna?
Yeah, that is Brianna Wu.
Oh.
You didn't think it was me?
No.
I'm not a YouTuber, dude. Why would I have, like, that YouTube channel is like my pinball machine malfunctioning and showing, like, clips to technicians. So, yeah, that's right.
I don't know anything about I know you were big during Gamergate, so I figured you just had, like, a big YouTube channel or something.
No. I've never been a YouTuber at all.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Well, I just want to warn you, we are not the kind of guys to have like the trans conversation.
Dude, the smooth skin jokes immediately.
No worries.
Come on.
Yeah,
so
I was just listening to your show. Listening to your stuff.
So if you want to give or clarify, you're welcome to. Right?
Oh my god. No, I think you're right. I mean, like a lot of people, Jenny was telling me she thought that statement came off as defending Keffals, and I think that's fair criticism.
This is so
I obviously can't defend any of the shit in that video.
It's not about coming off as defending Keffals. Was she not like basically supporting? Well, she was saying that Mutahar should have spoken more about the issues that trans people face. That's what she was saying, wasn't it?
I contributed to Keffals GoFundMe. It was, disappointing to see how some of that was spent. So I don't know. I just wanted to say, like, I obviously can't.
Can we bring up Brianna's old tweets about Keffals GoFundMe, where she said, "Well, I donated to a GoFundMe and I don't feel scammed."
Defend that, don't defend that. I just like watching it. I wanted to see a sentence from him just acknowledging that healthcare for minors is being dismantled in the United States. And to me, it's exactly like abortion. If you take away women's access to legal abortion, they're going to go get it in illegal ways. And I think the same thing is true for minors. So, if we're serious about keeping
the same thing is true for minors. What? So you just have to find a way to give minors the stuff that they want, no matter what it is? Because they'll get it anyway? What is this take?
Some of that was spent. So I don't know. I just wanted to say, like, I obviously can't defend that, don't defend that. I just like watching it. I wanted to see a sentence from him just acknowledging that, healthcare for minors is being dismantled in the United States. And to me, it's exactly like abortion. If you take away women's access to legal abortion, they're going to go get it in illegal ways. And I think the same thing is true for minors. So, if we're serious about keeping kids safe, because I don't want any of these kids to do DIY hormones, right? We've got to get really serious about funding this area of public policy, if that makes sense.
Can I ask you, like...
Yeah, be specific about that, Wu. Do you mean funding psychiatrists? Or going all in on affirmative care? What do you mean, Wu? These are two very different things.
I'd 100% agree with you. But my thing would just be... I just disagree with the money should be spent, kind of deal, right? Like,
how do you mean?
I personally don't think, right, that you should allow them to alter their bodies in such a way, right, at that young age. But for example, I'm all for funding, mental health specialists, stuff like that, or programs to help them cope with it.
Beaver spitting
until they are older and they can,
Dude, this is why. Listen. I feel like people didn't see it. People don't see in Beavers what I see in Beavers. This is the only good now recording member. And yes, I include Matt Pitt and Beckett. Beavers stands above them, okay? Because he actually has some fucking sense about him and can formulate an idea and put an argument forward. It's fucking insane. It's like the bar is so low on now recording.
You know what I mean? That would be my approach. But again, I'm not a doctor, kind of deal. But
so a lot of people think that you can, like, to use your words, chop your dick off before you're 18, and that's just not true. Like, they will do things to stop it from, like, permanently screwing up your body, but, like,
But this is the thing, though, isn't it? Is that the idea of puberty blockers being prescribed to minors at such a young age is also being contested, because it is not simply a stopgap, it is not simply a pause. It actually acts as the first step in transition in most cases and decreases the rate of desistance.
Really big stuff, you do have to wait till you're of age. And I think people are just under a misimpression about that.
It's not just about having to wait to a big age, till a later age for the big stuff. It's about the puberty blockers too. It's about the puberty blockers.
So I've got some general questions about this whole Keffals stuff. Firstly, so I mean, you said you gave money and you supported, while at the same time a lot of people were calling out Keffals' general actions, her actions towards Destiny. I mean, you seem to be on good terms with Destiny. How do you equate those two things?
Well, one of the things.
Yeah, so it's not a wait at all. If anything, you just have you just sabotage puberty and have little to no secondary features. So yeah, right. You don't magically, if you're on puberty blockers for 3 or 4 years, you don't magically gain back those 3 or 4 years of development. That time's passed. It doesn't just all of a sudden happen. It's not like when you stop taking them, it's like, okay, now you get all that puberty back.
Things I try to do here is not get involved in drama as much as I can. So, you know, look, I like Destiny a lot. I consider him a friend. I'm friends with a lot of the Orbiters, right? And it really seems to be like everybody's been telling me this whole time, like Keffals has some issues, right? And I've just tried to stay out of it as much as I can. You know, but there's some stuff here that clearly deserves an answer, and I hope we'll get that.
Do you like? I mean, have you seen like?
She was involved in the original drama with this. She was like fucking taking shots constantly.
Tipster and his interactions with Keffals and stuff. I believe there were some DMs at some point. That got
I mean, I've seen them interact. I mean, I used to consider Tipster a friend before he started going after me on Twitter and calling me Anna Kasparian. So, you know, I kind of don't know where that relationship is right now.
I mean, you kind of watched him run this defense, and like the DMs leaked in this that he was like he.
Also, new studies showing in MTFs, most relevant, 90% of cases worldwide, there's a significant cancer risk from taking estrogen plus bone density loss. Yes, I've heard that there are lots of issues come up taking estrogen. Yeah, it's just the total whitewashing of this medication and like of this model of care, the whole affirmative model, as just being. Oh, it's saving lives. They're literally going to die if we don't do this. It's so bizarre and just it's made to railroad through this poorly studied, highly risky model of care for a poorly understood condition for the sake of a political goal. It's very cringe.
You'd have to think about defending Keffals over a rape allegation, or if Keffals actually raped somebody. Like, I mean. Does that make you? But I mean, does that make you question at all? Kind of like some of the people you've had previous interactions with on that side of the sphere, because
they just emotion. It's all emotional blackmails. Wait, you're killing trans kids. You're killing trans kids. It's kind of that's all they beat people over the head with all the time.
It's like this has been called for years, 100%. And like
you know, I think like anyone that looks at my Twitter can see October 7th. Really opened my eyes up about a lot of stuff on the progressive side that I've just looked the other way on.
We're getting into Israel with this one, boys.
And it's at a point where
we're just getting into Israel with this one.
It's like I'm taking a blowtorch to my career and a lot of my friendships. But I'm not going to sit silent on a lot of this just crazy shit anymore. So yeah, and that includes things like this dynamic.
Did you have any other like general? Go on, Matt.
People in chat are asking me what's your opinion on the whole Catboy Ranch Discord server thing?
So I want to be really honest with you and say when I watched that video,
Eros super chatted $20. Kuihman Rap Startup Fund. Also Lil shout out Stamper Bay Rays and Sabermetrics.
Thank you for the $20. I'll add it to the account. Okay. We're at 177 right now.
Most of what I was thinking about was the fact that Maya was quoted so closely with that. Maya's a friend of mine. So I was just listening to like Mutahar talk about that dynamic. I'm just thinking like, you don't know Maya at all. Like you're taking the stuff she's saying here at face value and so dead seriously. And you don't know that she's just hilarious, like saying stupid shit. Like she's essentially a 4chan kid, even though she's a like political.
Okay, so which statements do you think were jokes and why were they jokes, Wu?
Total deflection. Democratic Party. So that was my main thought about that section, how hilarious it was to be taking what Maya was popping off with on Discord so seriously.
Right. Okay.
What exactly did Muta use that was incorrect? Let's pull up his video. What did he say about Maya? Because Maya Mu absolutely was involved in some freak shit in that Discord. I had a Keffals collar when they were a minor, I believe. When they were a minor. I do believe that was the case. Let's have a look.
The potential I could pass like you does give me hope to keep going. Thank you. Maya, or Femboy Mats, is another minor Clara interacted with on Twitter. Maya claimed to have been a member of the Catboy Ranch Discord whilst underage. Maya said, "Hey, I'm the person involved. There was no grooming." Someone replied, "Who said there was? You were still a minor in Catboy Ranch, which had ID verification." Maya then confirms that only the NSFW sections did. Maya was 16 years old when she began interacting with Keffals. 5 days after she turned 17, Clara replied to her selfie with a meme. "Damn ya ass fat, what's your pronouns?" Clara...
Okay, so what exactly, what 4chan joking from Maya are we supposed to use to dispel this instance of Keffals saying to a minor, "Damn your ass fat, what are your pronouns?"
later tweeted a meme at Maya
Where's the
about
4chan
taking
joke here?
estrogen and getting erections.
Where's the 4chan joke here?
In one thread, Catboy Ranch interacts with both Maya and Princess Emily, who was 15 years old. Now, these are highly inappropriate interactions for someone to engage in on their adults-only account at the age of 27. And this is only what we're able to see publicly. It's also worth noting Maya has since argued in favor of underage people lying about their age to people online. Maya turned 18th in January of 2022 and made an NSFW account to post nudes 3 months later.
Just saying, I lied about my age when I was 15 on the internet because I wanted to bank with people, so there's a pretty high chance that a lot of other people are doing the same thing. This person acts like a 15-year-old. If you didn't do this as a kid, you're sheltered.
This is where the story gets even darker, because we have to look at Maya's interaction with another user named Danny. Username is...
Okay, that wasn't actually... Mutahar's actually kind of misportraying that. That wasn't defending anything, but that was saying they did that.
Yeah. Danny publicly bragged about getting Maya on DIY HRT when she was a minor. About to start bragging that I got Maya on HRT when she was a minor, Maya began ordering from Otokonoko Farm. Publicly bragged about getting Maya on...
About to stop bragging that I got Femboy Maths on HRT when she was a minor, so I can get called a pedo, I assume, by a massive content creator. I mean, so did this not happen? Where's the joke here? Did this not happen? Did they not encourage this person to take estrogen while they were underage? Is that not happen?
DIY HRT when she was a minor. About to start bragging that I got Maya on HRT when she was a minor, Maya began ordering from Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals a month after turning 17. I'm about to take a pink pill.
So did they not order DIY HRT from Otokonoko Pharmaceuticals?
This all was with assistance.
Where's
from
the 4chan humor
director.
here?
A year later, she was so unhappy with her results, she actually called out and blocked Chloe on Twitter. What happened? She got pissed about her hormone results? I mean, that wouldn't be Chloe's fault because that's not something she can control. Everyone reacts differently to that stuff. Also, there's different dosages. The two end up having an argument about the specifics of HRT. Chloe calls Maya an idiot, and Maya says this: "Fuck DIY." Fuck
yeah, I know about synth from DGG, yeah.
All of this. I don't know how this happened. My regimen didn't change since my last test. I'm so done with listening to these quacks online who pretend they're better than actual doctors. As Maya herself stated, these people are not doctors. And someone like Chloe should not be allowed to posture herself as some kind of authority on the subject. No one without any proper credentials should. Not me, not Chloe, not Keffals.
Okay, so there was 0 screenshots of Maya in Discord in that entire section. Brianna Wu mentioned Discord logs. There were no Discord logs. And none of that was jokes. None of that was 4chan humor. No idea what she's talking about there. Just total deflection. So, and I doubt anyone will catch her on
it. What's your opinion on... Oh, go ahead, Beavers.
Oh, okay. I wanted to ask you. So I understand that not everybody's going to feel the same way.
Sure.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yo, Nick joins.
Obviously...
I've just received a message. Apparently, Nick and Keem are moving. Which is, okay.
I'm not involved in the trans community whatsoever, right? Outside
smart.
spectator.
Very smart.
Yes. The Mutahar video. Did you find that video transphobic?
Nope.
Like, no?
Nope.
So obviously everybody can feel differently, but I just wanted to find out for somebody that's, you know, more
there's no
involved than I
feeling
am.
on that. There's no transphobia there. And there's some stuff I think he could have said a little bit more skillfully, but it's so around the edges that who gives a shit? Like, real talk, like the trans community has got to grow the fuck up and put their big boy pants on or big girl pants on and, you know, accept that, you know, some people are going to have some... not everything is going to be phrased in a way that is like community safe. Like it's just, it's absurd, some of this stuff. I thought the thumbnail discourse was silly. If there's a way to draw a trans person to look ugly, which all of Mutahar's videos do, and not have it be transphobic, I'm not aware of one. I think that's just the style.
Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar
with that. So yeah.
Where do it? That's not even true. He's never done that for another video.
All right.
So
That's
I
not
mean,
even
like,
true.
I mean, where's even the legit argument that it was transphobic? I mean, he used her correct pronouns. He, I mean, advocated trans healthcare repeatedly. He denounced transphobia. He kept it focused on the issues. I mean, there's just no legit argument that that was transphobic.
Yeah. Well, the argument is mainly based on the fucking the thumbnail.
Yeah,
the
well,
thumbnail. That's it. Like,
I don't
honestly see it.
I don't want to blow your mind, but the trans Twitter conversation is sometimes not based on reality. I don't want to upset you, but that sometimes can be the case.
Right.
Oh, we're not crazy then.
Well, my last question would be, what's your opinion on Tipster?
I think Tipster has some kind of
the same thing she does every time.
super
She's
loyal friend.
snaking. I just let's
Tipster
get
has
to
that in some
when
ways as well.
someone competent comes in. Okay.
Questions. I'm telling you my opinion on it. You know, it's not really I don't think I've said anything that should make Lara feel attacked today. But you know, as far as this issue, I think Discord servers in the aggregate have a really big problem with lack of moderation. You know, it's like you've got a YouTube star, like they start off, it's essentially teenager.
Not an issue of lack of moderation. That was not the problem.
But I do think that there should be some middle ground. There should be some discussion. There should definitely be.
Mutahar. Okay.
You're essentially trying to scale communities without any protection there. So I don't think Keffals has a monopoly on any of this.
Okay, well, I'll hand over to Muta.
Well, yeah, Muta just joined us.
Yeah,
So just hand it over there.
Hello.
I just kind of slipped in. I heard.
No, we had the door wide open.
Don't worry.
Look, I just got home this whole weekend. I'm out in like fucking Pennsylvania and shit, and I just managed to. I got home like I want to say like 30 minutes ago.
Right.
But yeah, so shit's been a wild weekend. You know,
Yeah, I can imagine.
transphobia. So.
I
Dude,
really liked. I enjoyed your video, and I
will say, like, I
yeah.
read through messages that you sent me just now, and I kind of want to talk about like the DIY HRT stuff a little bit.
Sure.
Just to kind of like correct, or not just like sort of establish more. I would say flesh out what my thinking is.
Go ahead.
I am somebody that is very much a live and let live kind of guy, right?
Sure.
My only problem with any of this kind of stuff is I talked to 3 medical practitioners primarily, and that my wife, you know, they're all people that will say anything DIY, any type of medication, they don't recommend, right?
Sure. I don't recommend it either, 100%.
And my thing is always, so people kind of look at any video I make with the lens of U.S. politics, which is why I also bring U.S. as I mentioned. But my view on this is very much from like a Canadian perspective, which isn't perfect, but it's certainly a lot better than some states in the United States for sure. So my thing is, look, as long as something is 100% safe, and I guess one of the things I probably should mention is like gender dysphoria, these things are real, valid, like fucking classifications. Any doctor will say that.
Sure.
I just wish that there was a system, and it's one thing I advocate for, is like, if you want this to be accepted and legal and no issues, then that's the only hurdle to cross. I don't think that until then there should be any form of, or you know, there shouldn't be the other extreme end that should be promoted, right? Like,
oh my god, no, 100%. Yeah,
like we shouldn't be throwing the toaster oven in the fucking bathwater and like playing Risk. But I do think that there should be some middle ground. There should be some discussion. There should definitely be like a state agency or doctors getting together to do more research on this kind of stuff and coming to a thorough conclusion.
Sure, Mutahar, but this is a minor criticism, right? Like directionally, I don't have a problem with anything.
Directionally,
and you're right. This is a U.S. centric point of view that I'm giving to you, but it is swear to God war, political war on trans children right now. Even legally through gender clinics, there's a massive operation to shut all of that down. And I want to be really clear. Like, I don't think the system is working very well. I think it needs to be overhauled. I think the safeguards that are in place are not functioning very well. I was really astonished with one study that showed only 79% of people going to gender clinics and getting HRT meet the WPATH standard, which blew my mind. So, like, it's clear something's got to change. But I just felt like there's this context in your video that you're criticizing DIY. And I think from the trans community's point of view, it's like, the Democratic Party is not making like trans healthcare access a really big priority, right? It's under attack by the Republicans. So I think trans people are going, you know what? Legal help to get all this stuff is.
Why aren't you prioritizing 0.02% of population? It's not that low, but you get my point. Why isn't this a priority for you? I wonder.
Now here, we're going to have to turn to illegal stuff. And that's just the context I thought was missing from your video, which I think is a pretty nuanced like criticism.
I mean, look, I can see that angle of it for sure. It's just, honestly, it is tough from any perspective to like sort of bring the DIY. It's hard to like, I guess, sort of watch that for, because here, look, the reason why this video also took really long to make is I've kind of been like testing, I've been focus testing with the people in my life, friends, family, whatever, and I brought up this idea and it's always, sort of brought fear, especially amongst like, new parents and everything too.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where, like, how do you bring this kind of topic up and how do you introduce it? Like, and then you get into other extrapolations, like, hey, if we allow this, what about tattoos?
I think
it's such a massive like minefield. So it's like, for me, and look, the trans people that I talked to before making this video, one of them was Cherry, who I used some of her messages in it. The whole discussion was, look, when you're under the age of like 18 or something, right? When you're like fucking, I guess, a kid, you eventually go through a change in your body that can't be reversed. And if you never wanted to have that change to begin with, well, now you're just fucking stuck in some way. So it is such a minefield quagmire thing that trying to have a healthy discussion about it. Which is not, again, the central focus point of it. My whole focus point was, hey, listen, if you're going to get on Discord and start introducing this kind of stuff, I really feel like parents, governmental agencies, every party should be involved. And look, I know the world's perfect, right? Like, if you brought this stuff up to like a family in like, conservative land who They would never even want to hear the LGBT stuff coming out of their kids. That's a risky subject, but it's still not something. It's such a legal fuck. It's such a weird situation, and every aspect of talking about this involves so many different parties that I don't know. I never.
I fully agree with you. And let's be really clear. For a lot of
it's a really complicated issue. It's a really complicated issue.
Is shut the fuck up. Right? That's not a political answer. That is a. We've tried to do that for a long time, and parents don't like that. It's really normal for parents to have questions like, "Is this a phase that my child is going to grow out of? What are the effects of this going to be?" And I think the trans community's tendency to frame this like you either give your child HRT and let them transition, or they're going to commit suicide. Well, that's not. It's a lot more complicated than that. So I want a far more sophisticated public policy conversation with every single part of this. And the extremes on both sides are making it absolutely impossible. Go look at my Twitter. Like yesterday, I had TERF screaming at me all day and trans activists screaming at me all day for saying, I think we should talk about gender-neutral bathrooms less and universal healthcare more. So I hear what you're saying there. It's just, this is a political reality that there are a lot of really desperate trans kids out there. They're going, oh my God, if I don't get HRT, I'm not going to be able to pass and my life is going to be much harder. That is a very, very reasonable fear. And in the same way we need to have an answer for parents, I think we need an answer for those kids, and it's going to be a lot of work.
I think that's something everyone can agree on. I'm glad that we brought up the extremes on every angle because it makes talking about such a contentious issue that much more difficult. I think like one of the things I said was like, hey, listen, a lot of the arguments, especially when it came around like sports stuff, right? Like we're taking people.
Okay, I've got. We need to get. Mutahar is throwing.
My thing with criticism to my video, before I like even get into it, like I don't really foresee any logical response you can make to counter any of the points I made in the video because a lot of it, like, this requires so much research. It is. I didn't make this video to make somebody look bad. It's just what they've done is actually terrible behavior. Sure. I do believe the only salient response that he can provide and give is to probably refund that money or put it towards actual transgender causes because one of the points in the video was like, hey, listen, this is already a community that lives in poverty. I mean, I have seen people who have been in the LGBT community who get kicked out of their homes. They're effectively homeless, right? And you know, if you live in like a city like Toronto, right, which is like fucking LA, New York levels of prices, these are people that effectively go homeless because of whatever that they've been born with, right? Like, and people can have a discussion or whatever all the time about what is valid and what isn't, but like this is a community that is already like fucking living. A lot of people live in abject poverty. You know, most people, in this community, look, you either find like some of the richest, most educated gay people like that are making good money, right? Like my brother-in-law works for a fucking good firm, educated from a great place. One extreme end or the other. There's never like an in between. Families are like either they can set you for success or they can fucking ruin you, right? You get kicked out of your house at 16, not a lot of options. So in that community, that needs to be reimbursed for them, right? That's or at least some form of transparency. And the other thing is, it's like what the behavior that she has showcased is exactly the kind of behavior you hear about on fucking Twitter. I guess a lot of these right-wing circles about like, hey, remember behavior. So that needs to be fucking rectified. That needs to be like properly discussed because it makes the whole community look so bad. And the people that I talk to, look, most of them just want to live.
Yeah. Oh man, am I going to come around on Doge Engels saying she's so disingenuous in chat? I'm like, oh no, terrible day if I'm going to come around on Doge Engels. I can't let this happen.
That's my issue. Why isn't there self-policing in this community? Like, Brianna Wu, like you've seen all this stuff firsthand. I'm not understanding why it takes Mutahar to go and make the video. Mutahar's not watching.
Yeah. Why is your tune suddenly changing now, Brianna?
Keffals stream. Not paying attention. Real quick, the stream died. Real quick, the stream died. Just so you know. Sorry.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
We'll be back in a minute.
We're good.
Okay, I have to push back on that because I do know Keffals. I don't think she sits there and actively thinks she's better than everyone. And in fact, I think a lot of people really misunderstand Keffals. I genuinely Keffals
you do. Okay.
Traumatized from the things that have happened to her in the last few years. She's not faking that, okay?
But it's hard to believe
Hold
that.
on. I want to finish what I'm saying. And it causes her to make decisions that...
Dude. Nick and Keem are fucking cooking. I can feel it. Let's go. We're going to enjoy this. This is a popcorn moment. This is from Kino. Brianna Wu getting cooked by Nick and Keem in 2024. Let's fucking go, man.
A lot of people around her are encouraging her to make different decisions, okay? And I'm going to be honest.
Maybe Mutahar's video was worth it. Maybe Mutahar's video was worth it.
Come on. She potentially stole a lot of money.
Please.
When I was 22, I found myself in rehab in the exact same way Keffals did. Poly addiction. I was a mess. And I think all the time, what if for that period of my life, social media had been around or I had been a YouTube star? Holy crap. I mean, I'm not justifying everything that she's done. I'm saying it is context. She's not lying about being traumatized by what happened with the police showing up to her house. That really hurt her.
No, but she is lying about the money. And that's a really big deal.
And she did lie about the cops.
No,
she lied about certain aspects.
She did lie about the cops. She did lie about the cops.
Can agree. This is where I'm gonna push back here. I've said this. She's probably on drugs, right? Whatever fucking coke, meth, benzos, whatever the hell it is. I can understand somebody being addicted to drugs and being really dark.
Abby's spitting in chat right now, guys. I need a quick chill. Okay, quickly. Okay, guys, we have 102 likes, but 259 people watching. Okay, it's a huge disparity. Huge disparity, guys. Okay, remember, liking is free, totally free. You only have to drag your cursor over press the button. Okay. If you want to go further than that, you can also donate, buy a membership, gift membership, buy a super chat. If you can. Thank you very much. We are doing a donor goal for $500 for me to cover Euphoria. Okay.
Place, right?
Sure.
And there have been places where I've been that have not been the best. Okay, over the last 10 years, there have been periods in my life where I've had severe downs. But that I never can think is an actual excuse for financial mismanagement of this degree. And again, even if somebody is going through a lot of drug stuff too, that doesn't excuse terrible behavior, interaction, and outright lying about interacting with certain communities. You know, running some of these Discord servers. Like people have said that mischaracterizations. Anybody that hasn't watched my video said like, "Hey, listen, the way that you portrayed her as like a groomer." I never said she was a groomer. I said her interactions with a minor using the Catboy Ranch Discord server, Twitter account, or whatever. Those were signs. Those were not good things to do. Any other person in that situation would be fucking thrown under the bus.
Yes.
And these are things that are ultimately net negatives. These are things that shouldn't have happened. Yes, people can go through terrible, rough times, but we've got to look past a lot of the rough times that she's had, because there is no salient excuse for some of the serious financial mismanagement, and of course some of the outright like lies and mischaracterization,
lies,
the way she's acted,
the irreparable damage she's done to a free and open internet. Yep.
In general, over the last 2-3 years.
So I want to respond to that. Hold on.
Just one line. I just you basically said, Brianna, she was in a dark place. That's what you said. But go ahead.
Okay, so I hear what you're saying, Mutahar. I think.
Oh,
what
dude,
you're saying...
Brianna fucked up coming on here. There is no way she should be on with Keem and Nick right now. Holy shit.
It's dead on, and it's fair. I think there are two.
Oh man.
You are critiquing Keffals, the public figure, and her public actions about what she did with public money. God bless. Like, your video had some very salient criticisms. I think I really welcome that kind of scrutiny being brought to this stuff, and I think it was entirely appropriate. What I would ask y'all to understand is I've been on Keffals' stream once. Like 90% of my interactions with her are as a friend of someone who's gone through something kind of similar, and that's my dynamic with her. So does that make sense to you? It's just I feel like I have a different role.
Have a different role? No, I think you should take a stance on things that are seriously negative that your friends are doing. What? I have a different role? What sort of bullshit is this? Talking about...
Was she traumatized when she talked to the kids like she did on Twitter?
We've already talked about that.
Was she traumatized? Yeah, but was she traumatized
then?
Because that happened before the cops.
We've already talked about this. I don't defend that.
I listen, I understand what you're saying, that you had like tough times too, and I'm glad you got through them.
So you just hang out with a girl. Okay.
But if you made a decision like Keffals had made to basically scam $100,000 on GoFundMe, like, you're talking, this is a person who says they're in danger and they bought IRL streaming equipment to go to a place where Kiwi Farms had a bomb threat.
Sure.
Okay, this is like beyond, like, you have to understand.
And the other thing is too, sorry Nick to cut you off, if you are under risk, right, and you feel that your life is in danger, going to places like Twitch San Diego and putting the lives of other people in danger is also never a good thing to do. I mean, this is somebody who at the time was, I guess, one of the most polarizing figures, to go to like a massive event where, you know, I guess bad things could have happened. That is not like,
okay, thanks,
Musa. Exact signs of somebody.
Let someone else talk now.
They're in a far better situation than they're letting on in the public sphere.
She has a whole career of lying, and just manipulating her audience over and over and over again. I mean, you can't support someone like that.
You're not wrong, but what I think about is all the mistakes I made during Gamergate. And, you know, it has taken me a long time to come back and basically fix my reputation from that.
You name the mistakes, own up to them. Talk about the street racing incident. Talk about Jace Connors. Talk about Jace Striker. Talk about $1 Million Extreme. Talk about Total Biscuit. I haven't heard these really meaningfully addressed.
I was traumatized. The death threats did get to me. I made decision after decision after decision that was incredibly stupid. And I can see that now because I'm past that trauma and I worked with a therapist to get past it. I know what it's like to be in the middle of that. And
it really is, isn't it? It's like you could write her a fucking script.
Look, your criticism is fair. It's just I I personally have a different assessment based on my own experiences that give me a little bit more compassion for decision making that I think we would both agree is very bad.
I just wish you made the video on Keffals. I wish you exposed Keffals, not me. I do. I wish that your own community policed itself.
Sure.
That's what I wish happened.
I mean, I'm more frustrated with the lack of acknowledgement, and this is not personal to you, Brianna, but
sure.
it's more or less just the trans community just can't take a W on this. We have to have discourse over a thumbnail. We have to talk about who drew the thumbnail. We have to talk about legislation. I understand the legislation problem. Don't get me wrong. It's you go on a Twitch panel, you can't escape it. It's one of the main subject matters that I see discussed on stuff like this. But I feel like it's not a prerequisite when you're in a situation as bad as this to just openly criticize. Because
it's not Mutah's place. It is not incumbent upon Mutahar to make some prescription about policy because he's exposing someone who's scanning.
Your stance on DIY hormones is different than mine and different than Mutahar's, but I don't think we disagree.
Is it different? What is the difference between our positions? I don't hear any difference.
Are you for DIY hormones for children at all?
Of course I'm not. I think I've said this. It's
no. You would say what you actually think, though.
That's my mistake.
Okay, let me say this really explicitly because I don't want anyone to misunderstand this. I don't support minors taking DIY hormones. But exactly
no, she didn't say the opposite. She's going to say something very specific.
Abortions, minors are going to take DIY.
She said it's going to. She says it's going to happen. You can't stop it. It's going to happen because we don't let them do it legally. That's what she says.
Hormones if we don't build a system. If you're serious about stopping minors from taking DIY hormones, you've got to give them a healthcare system that will deliver for them. I'm talking about outcomes. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. And I understand what you're saying, but I'm telling you that it makes people can't condemn what is obviously bad. That discourse is not allowed to happen in this community. We have to look past that, and that just makes the community look worse as a whole.
This is a problem with progressivism. It's not just trans people. There's no self-correcting mechanism in the progressive space, which is why you've got these nut jobs praising Hamas and pretending.
Okay, take it easy. None of that. Okay.
Happen, right? It's just getting crazier and crazier, and it's not even about any public policy anymore. So I share your assessment. Where's the self-policing from the community? It's a huge problem. It's got to change. It's causing us to become the left-wing version of Gamergate, and you just can't. I can't look the other way on this.
Yeah, Wu's talking to DeOrio Keemstar and Mutahar right now.
Anymore.
I gotta go, but here's my final statement on this. This isn't a trans issue. This whole thing, Keffals, has nothing to do with trans, right? It's literally a content creator like all of us who are content creators who lied, who manipulated, and who potentially stole thousands of dollars from their fans, right? That's the story here. And every pushback tries to turn it into, oh, this is transphobic and this and that. It's
not transphobic, but it is relevant to trans thing. It is relevant to trans shit 100%. It's a very trans phenomenon. And the idea of trans people dying has been the fuel for all of this. All of this campaign. The whole Drop Kiwi Farms thing was all fueled on, oh, trans people are killing themselves because of Kiwi Farms. All of the gender affirming care stuff is fueled by trans people are going to kill themselves. If you don't give kids hormones legally, they're going to kill themselves. It's all fueled. It is a trans issue, and it's been pushed through with the exact same trans tactics as all the other trans shit.
Every response to this is pure manipulation. People from your community, Brianna Wu, need to stand up for facts and truth and get rid of the bad actors because it makes the whole group look bad, especially when they're defending, this.
Keemstar. Take it easy on the moral flagging, okay? Remember who you are, bro.
The thumbnails, transphobic and stuff like that. Stuff that no one will agree with. No one can look at that thumbnail and be like, oh yeah, Muta is being transphobic. No one's coming to that conclusion.
What did she do with Total Biscuit? She referred to Total Biscuit as one of the most transphobic, racist leaders of harassment on the internet. And then after he died, she said to his fans, she said, wow, do you guys really want his wife to suffer because you guys are still harassing people in his name? And all this shit. And was saying that she was basically glad he was dead. And a bunch of crazy shit on fucking Twitter about him.
It makes everyone.
No, Keemstar did essentially the same thing.
Is toxic, and everyone needs to run for the hills. Supporting her means going down the toilet with her.
Just a quick thing. Sorry,
say something real quick.
Please.
Whoa.
Okay.
Go ahead, Xylie.
All right, I want to say this, and I'm gonna okay. Listen, I understand you saying that she has trauma, but I can't get past that because I feel like you're giving her the pass and the excuse for what she's done by saying that. That's literally what it feels like.
What am I specifically excusing today? I've acknowledged a ton of things that have been mistakes. I'm saying for me personally, Brianna Wu, the individual, I have an assessment and it gives me some compassion for it. I said Muta's video is entirely fair. I said she needed to answer it. Right. I said any number of criticisms here are fair. Right. So what am I defending other than saying I personally have experience that gives me some compassion for this?
I'm going to be honest. She doesn't deserve any compassion. She doesn't. She doesn't deserve any compassion because that's given her a pass. She needs to answer for what she did.
But this isn't just... No. Okay, this is a poor attack. It shouldn't be about... This is retarded. What they need to do is go, hey, Brianna, why did it take this Mutahar video for you to realize this? All the evidence was always there, and you never said anything. How did you only just come to this conclusion? Did you never sit there and think about where that money was going? That's what needs to be pressed on. It's not about, oh, you're being too nice to Keffals right now, or anything like that. The reason why it's so frustrating is because Brianna Wu has defended and aided Keffals every step of the way for the last 3 years, and now that there's a big mainstream video, she's jumping ship. Now that Keffals has sort of turned on her, she's jumping ship and saying, oh, you guys were right. I just think it's really important that we directionally talk about trans policy and all this shit. It's like, that's not really... Wu, you aided this guy for 3 years. This guy's fuck. That was actually an accident. You aided Keffals for like 3 years. She always knew, but she ignored it because she's politics brain. I don't believe that. No, I don't believe that. It's not politics brain. It's not politics brain. It's clout brain. It's what Wu is about. Is clout. What was that? Listen. Guys, gender neutral. Guys, gender neutral. Yes, exactly. Quella's got me. Quella got me. Nobody got me. Quella got me. Guys, gender neutral.
Okay.
Oh, man.
I think Keffals needs to take a long step away from public life. I did this after Gamergate. I got my head on straight, and I think as long as she's in the public eye, I think it's just going to keep getting worse. So I think the kindest thing she could do for herself is to take a long break.
Okay, so this is one of the things that there are so many fucking warning signs with people like Keffals, and it's not just Keffals.
Yeah, Beckett.
I remember at the time there was this big conversation of, well, and it's in the video. I use myself as a lightning rod, and I think that is fucking bollocks. Like, Keffals used her community not as she wasn't the shield for it. She used it as a sword. And members of her own community were getting doxxed, were getting put on blast, whether it was Twitter, Kiwi Farms, whatever, because she was encouraging them to put themselves at risk. And I know when it's well, Keffals is going through trauma, but isn't there I feel like there's almost a wider conversation there with the fact that, people weaponize their communities and are calling it activism. It's not fucking activism. It's just bludgeoning people that they dislike. That's what the whole ratioing thing was in the first place. And not to mention, the way Keffals acted towards that community. I remember the fucking ban trials, because she used a bot to mass ban everyone, and then people had to plead in the messages to get back in, and then that got turned into content. And when you see creators do that and they get a pass, like Hassan and everything else, it just seems like there's this double standard when you label yourself an activist, which is incredibly frustrating to watch happen.
Well, it's not invisible. I watched Denim say we're going to be talking about a thumbnail today because I don't think it's worth critiquing someone.
The reason she did that was because she absolutely hated me on the Israel-Palestine thing. That's why. She was already biased.
She literally came out and straight up.
You were timed out because you were repeatedly posting an acronym that has two meanings, one of which is 10 toes down. Okay, I think you know why you were timed out. I don't think that's an honest question. I think you know exactly what you did because you did it 3 times. I said none of that's too far.
I've said I will not be covering this because I don't think it's valuable to criticize a leftist content creator. It's out loud.
Hey,
That's
listen,
crazy.
what does Keffals do when she gets any kind of criticism? She'll fire up a stream how she was raped or something. That's what she's going to end up doing.
Yeah, total tips to domination.
That's what she's going to end up doing.
All right. Normally, I would say that's out of pocket, but she did kind of do that to Xander Hall. That clip is crazy, dude. That clip was fucking crazy. What was the quote? Like, I have to relive this because Xander Hall retweeted someone. Like, I don't know. That was a little wild. Keep in mind, this is around the time when Xander Hall got the screenshots that she was talking about how she just loves doxing people in private.
So here's a really honest question. You know, I feel like I've gotten to know a lot of content creators over the last 2 years, and to some extent, everyone here is mentally damaged, right? Like being in, it's amazing to me anyone actually wants to be a content creator.
True.
Because it does take a toll. The drama cycles take a toll. Getting screamed at all the time takes a toll.
So pathetic.
These
people are so rich. Oh, I'm just so tortured. I'm just so hurt by the internet. My mental state's just so bad because of the internet. Oh, my mental it's just so bad because of the internet. Dude, my mental state is never better when I'm shouting at people online. That's when I'm in my zen. That's when I'm in my zen. Maybe you just shouldn't use the internet. Exactly. Log off. Unplug your computer, as Tuna Chip said. Tuna Chip said. Jesus Christ. Where's that song? Where's that song that Tuna Chip made for Wu?
You're not so erudite. Yeah, that's an understatement. An IQ so low, it's looking like Rick's bank statement. He's the toothless king, spitting rhymes like the blood libel Israel's dog bred in the American style. Call him the retard wrangler.
It's got the video demonetized. Okay, 1 minute. I'll be careful.
Total strangers, asking them to be crazy in exchange for online favors. Sorry about the friendly fire. Gotta build my Twitch empire. Sunday calling felt like he's the TOS umpire. Yeah, next up it's Brianna Wu. Twitter thread's a fucking zoo. Strangers calling you. Hope you brought your checkbook. Burning you his textbook. Hope you like this next hook because it's going personal. Revolution 60 going on 8. Career bled up. Got your waist looks like you're menstruating. $1 million down the drain. Disappearing like David Blaine. Employees starving like Soviets with no fucking brain. The name is Lactoid Skull.
Okay, I just wanted the Brianna Wu bit. I mean, I guess we'll play the rest.
Platform like a trampoline. With viewers all just
we'll play the rest of it.
Take your Dramamine flow so hard it's dizzy and for oblivion. Babble simians, there's no suppressing what's in common. Online hate will keep on humming. Singularity soon becoming stunning, cunning, always running. Governments can't tackle God. The US, UN, or Mossad. Damn, the urge is growing strong. It's best that we just play along. Unplug your computer. Unplug your computer. Unplug your computer. Unplug.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough. It's fucking awful. The fact he played it while we were sat there was what was funny. That is true. That is true. But it's still good to remember it. I feel like it's still good to remember it. Okay? And listen, you're saying it was a bad censor job. People are saying it's a bad censor job. I don't think you guys understand. YouTube picks up words on the screen. Okay? YouTube detects words on... So I can't look at which words are on the screen while I'm censoring it because it's going to set it off. Okay? So that was actually a pretty good censor job, I think, actually.
The ethical way to do this, to have kindness for someone that's going through something difficult but is making bad decisions, but also hold people accountable, because it feels like we're going to those extremes there, right? Like we're either looking the other way.
People. It has to be victims. Well, and I think that there are in this case. I think that
who is the victim? Who is the victim?
$100,000 of money.
I'm a victim. Me? Yeah. I'm a victim.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Yes, you are a victim of fraud. Yes, you were defrauded by Keffals. Yes.
Freddie Woods super chatted $5. Key clapping hands, baby.
Thank you for the $5. Thank you. Keys, Jack. Thank you.
It's not just you. It's every single trans person who has to make a GoFundMe in the future. And people go, well, where's my money going this time? I thought this was going to someone whose life was in danger, and they spent it on fucking a GoPro.
I think it's a little. I hear what you're saying. I think the long-term answer for trans healthcare cannot be GoFundMe. So I think
no, but it is right now. That's the current state of things.
I think that's
very. It survives off of goodwill.
Yeah.
I think it's more than just money. It's the perception of a community that you claim to advocate for. Look, I'll say this from right now, okay? Like fucking people like Osama bin Laden, right? Like they're fucking bad Muslims. We all can agree, right? But they were just fucking terrible people to begin with. I think activists like Muslims that ultimately harm I think anybody that advocates, right, versus just being shitty is bad enough, because an advocate or somebody that tries to make your community look better, but inadvertently keeps falling into the same traps that makes you look worse than ever before, is ultimately even more of a harm than an actual piece of shit to begin with, right? That's my problem with like Keffals. Yes,
Mutahar's such a retard, dude. What your point is really Keffals is worse than Bin Laden? Is that what we're going for here?
Empathy for drug users. Don't get me wrong, I do. And I feel like a lot of your empathy comes from the fact that you were more friendly with her at some point. That is what I'm hearing. But I think that just because we're friends with people, I think that honestly, that as hard as it sounds and as painful as it is, the people that were once friends should be the hardest, right? Like,
God, I hate Mutahar, dude. This guy sucks. Let someone else talk now. Let someone else talk, please.
That have such high hopes, that want to be recognized, that just want to live their life, who have to constantly fucking feel like shit because there's an activist in their camp that just keeps setting the fucking clock back.
Okay, I've got a hard question for you, Mutahar. This is a really tough question. Okay, you think Keffals is a bad activist? Who are the good activists in the trans community that you can point to? People above board, doing good work, not being active,
that's my question too, actually, Mutahar. That's actually that is a good question. Well, you're right.
Able to really think about public policy.
That's a question that I am not too much of an expert.
ContraPoints is good. I agree. Yeah.
Blair White. Not Blair White.
Blair White is crazy. Like she's a drama queen, but she also talks to a right-wing constituency in a way that the left does not, and I think that actually has a ton of value.
Well,
Tipster's a good one.
Okay, all jokes aside, right? Like if you ask me ContraPoints, I would come to my head.
So this is the reason I asked this. Is I think it's a problem. It's a really
fix your mic.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm fucking disconnected here. But no, the other thing is like if we're ContraPoints, that's the question we brought up because we're not in the community, but you are in the community. So the thing is,
I think there's a real lack of leadership. I think there's
who would be an activist right now that you would put up?
I think Aaron Reed does good work directionally.
Aaron Reed, that disgusting fucking journalist that just lies in her fucking articles, the one that has me blocked on Twitter. I'm not entirely sure why. The one that just straight up was like totally misrepresenting the CAS report. No, that's Erin Green. That's Erin Greenbug. I believe she said Erin Reed. Erin Reed is a separate one, who is Erin in the Morn. Runs a Substack called Erin in the Morn, where she lies about trans news and makes things that are very alarming seem not so alarming.
I think Alejandra is a hot mess. I think she's terrible. I think Jessie Gender is just the worst. You know, I think it is person after person.
Yeah, I know she just won a fucking GLAAD award. Yeah, I saw.
The person that's elevated in this community that ends up being extremely bad for the community because it's not about trying to accomplish any public policy. It's all about their hashtag brand. So I hear what you're saying about Keffals, and I think it's a fair critique, but this is a pattern that's like through the entire community. And you know, just to really talk about structural issues of why this happens, a lot of this is because the gay rights groups that should have been building real trans leaders for the last 20 years, they're just not interested in it. HRC is not producing trans leaders. You know, Land Illegal is barely funded. Like there's just not a pipeline to develop people to become like credible spokespeople on this. So it's that failure that causes a whole panoply of YouTube stars to like fill that gap.
Wu has been lying about Jesse Single too. Yeah, saying he's like a chaser and shit. Yeah.
Someone else is doing this.
And she's got DMs that would, she's got screenshots or something that would cancel him or some shit like that. Stories that would cancel him.
VTube's going to be in Star Wars, so
I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that.
Well, I think the one concern is, I don't know if it's the YouTube algorithm that forces this way, but the reason why we're just only talking about Keffals is because she has made herself the Jesse Jackson of trans. That's the only thing you have to get out of. That's the only fucking thing that we're gonna have to try to find a way. Like she made herself the lightning rod. That was her own thing. That was literally it. So this is why we're talking. Nobody else is in that position. Nobody else has even claimed to jump into that position too. So this is.
That's another reason why I have a problem with Keffals. I feel like Keffals used that opportunity to exploit people. There is no figurehead. I'll be the figurehead.
Oh God.
Keffals is really good at I think at her best she can really see a controversy and drag some drama out of it. I think it's a skill I really it's too bad she can't use it for good. Yeah.
She like the Kiwi Farms, the Drop Kiwi Farms thing. That's not the work of
Really? This is your best? Okay. I'm losing it, man. And where's my progressive victory paycheck?
An amateur.
That's true. I've been working on that for a really long time. She got it done where me and a whole bunch of political professionals completely failed.
What, did she get it done?
Yeah, did she do that? Well, that's fair point. Fair
I mean,
point.
it's still there. If anything, it's more resilient than ever.
Fair point. She dealt, let's phrase it this way. She dealt a blow that a lot of serious people have been trying to deal for a very long time. And,
yes, it was a bad thing. It was a bad thing. Yes, that blow was bad. Defend it, please. Someone's got to defend it. Someone's got to defend it, please. Someone's got to say it's a bad thing that Cloudflare stopped supporting Kiwi Farms. Someone has got to make this point, please. Come on, I'm begging.
Took it down.
Well,
so,
it's funny. She's great at doxing people in the DMs.
All right.
The thing about the Kiwi Farm stuff.
Tell these people to shut. Fucking stupid whore Xylie, man. Fuck. Useless bitch.
Dress too, because I've seen people say like I ran cover for Kiwi Farms or something. Look, at the end of the day, Kiwi Farms to me, I've said it in the video, and this is why I don't tweet out anything, because it's like, you gotta watch the video. Like, fucking anybody that's been shitting on me for this, I condemn their fucking behavior, right? Like, transphobia, none of this shit has a fucking place in my mind. That being said, I did stand by my definition of what they do is functionally legal, right? Like, even the definition of doxing, right? For instance, if we're going about just the US version of it, if they're just cataloging shit they see in the white pages, that's not doxing. I compared it to the other website Zero, where the group was actually maliciously using U.S. servicemen credentials or U.S. federal agent credentials to source information out of like federal databases. That's a fucking problem. That's illegal behavior. These are distinctions I make out. Now, as far as the website going, yeah, shutting down Kiwi Farms and delivering a blow is one thing, but being a fucking former cybersecurity agent, right? Like the idea of looking at what the site is now, even if there are less users, right? It is a much more resilient site than ever before. And some of the technologies on it, I wouldn't even doubt have been spread to other more dangerous websites, I would say, or more insanely wild websites that I won't name. So this is what's happened out of the campaign. It was shut down briefly, brought up back on Tor, and now it has a front-facing clear web domain that is easily accessible.
They got $100,000 in donations for their own legal fund now, by the way, which I'm sure is not going to GoPros.
So this would be
no one, Josh won. Kiwi Farms raped you.
My pushback on that. And look, I agree with you, Mutahar.
Someone has to defend the fucking. Someone has to defend their right to protect themselves against illegal DDoS attacks. Someone has to say it.
Like directionally, there's a very strong free speech argument for Kiwi Farms. I want to tell you what my experience with Kiwi Farms has been.
We don't care. No one cares. No one cares.
Something happened.
Don't care. Literally don't care. This could be literally. She could say that her dog got its head caved in by a Kiwi farm and came to her house, and my response would be, I don't care. Literally, I'm telling you now, I don't care.
My pictures online, you know, public information, Facebook pictures, me taking a picture of my dog or whatever. And, you know, they took those pictures and they managed to diagram a picture of my house. And they did a background picture of the house and they put it on Kiwi Farms. It got published on Medium. And then from there, one of those nut jobs started sending me graphic stories every single day explaining how they were going to come through my house and execute me, execute my dogs, execute my husband. Like really.
Wait. This is Operation Woopocalypse. This is Jace Connors. This is Deagle Nation, isn't it? This is when the FBI went to their place. Dude. Yeah, it was $1 million extreme. Why? Surely someone knows.
Graphic stories.
Surely someone here knows.
Get me and cut the skin off my body and force feed it to
yeah, which KF had nothing to do with, by the way. KF had nothing to do with. Deagle Nation, like the MDE guys were literally running ops on KF so that KF wouldn't realize they were trolling.
So it is a vector for sending mentally unhealthy people to your real world life. And like, there's no easy policy answer here because free speech is really important. I thought when you said, like, we've banned a lot of this stuff on mainstream platforms, and of course it's going to go somewhere, I actually think that's a very fair statement. But it's not, I think there's a tendency by people to not really look at what the real world outcome is of some of these sites. And it really, really hurts people. I actually know women that have very deliberately stayed out of the limelight for their entire career because they have children and they don't want them targeted with this stuff.
Okay.
So
that's their choice. Okay.
Calculation of what happens.
Okay. It's fine.
I think this is with websites like Kiwi Farms personally is like when I mentioned the Kiwi Farms, and like you said when you messaged me, we're all from like old school Portugal.
Yeah.
There are far more insane boards out there that I feel like the energy could have been more directed at towards, right? Which is one of the points of the videos. I'm like, look, not going to cover for Kiwi Farms, but look, if I had the tier list, the level of hell that existed on the internet, the website that actually caused the damage should have been down. The problem that I also have, and I probably should actually mention this in the video, is that when you don't take down the offending website, right? And in this case, we'll call it website 0 again. That website gains more power. You know, in the sense that they know that, oh, they're just going to go after the fucking, you know, the other website, blah, 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 because we're still fucking safe. That's my only other concern, like, with this situation. The other thing is, look, I get it. Your information is out there. People say really wild stuff all the time, too.
Dude, what is this fucking retard doing? You're on a fucking show. Can you not literally sit down for 2 minutes to fucking talk?
I'm not going to run the oppression Olympics.
Put your mic to your face, bro. Come on.
There's a good chance all of our personal information is already out there.
All of it.
When I did deep web browsing, there was an entire 3-4 dark web pages, literal pages, not the farms, the pages where they just put all of my information up there, right? You know, it's to the point where I'm doing the Tony Soprano sitting outside in my backyard with a fucking AK-47 waiting for the fucking worst to happen because paranoia kind of hits you. No jokes right there. People will do fucked up shit. I worry about family. There have been previous tenants for older homes that I've lived in that I've had awkward calls with because shit has happened. People have sent stuff to the house. Some have shown up. I get it. There's a lot of bad stuff on the internet. There's a lot of bad fucking people out there for sure.
Sure.
With that also completely said though, it's like what these websites do and what is, I get shutting them down. I just feel like championing them being shut down and using it as like, it aggravates them more.
Burn me on a fucking cross here. I understand. Look, this shit's got my fucking address on it too. All right, I understand what you're saying, but like, let's not pretend that 99% of the discussion on Kiwi Farms isn't just people like laughing, calling people fat, and talking about fucking YouTube drama. Like the vast majority of it is literally just a message board.
I agree with that. And I think like the long-term policy solution, like I've talked to Catherine Clark, Congresswoman Catherine Clark, who's in charge of the DNC nowadays. A lot
they really need to push on the clarify point. They need to actually say that it was a bad thing that Keffals did. That's what I want to hear pressed on.
Is we need law enforcement.
But maybe they don't even think that. I don't know.
That some of these death threats in the digital age, it's not benign, and we need for them to like prosecute some of
but the ones that you got were benign because the FBI looked into them and found that the guy was joking. Right?
Cases, right? Like I think that if you want to call someone the T word or some slurs online, tough shit. That's a free speech issue. If you're repeatedly telling someone in graphic terms how you were going to murder them, I actually think there should be some law enforcement out there that should look at that, see if there's a criminal case and pursue it. I think if
they do. But they do. But this already happens. She's just explaining how things are now. They looked into your case and there wasn't any serious threats and no action was taken.
Consequences into the equation for the most extreme cases, I think that would do a lot of good here. So, it's really frustrating that activists are putting in this place of like trying to shut down a website because the fucking FBI can't be bothered to hire 100 agents to do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think, but I think like at the core of it, one of the big concerns, again, I'll reiterate, is like Kiwi Farms, look, I don't agree with whatever the fuck they're doing over there. Condemned, obviously. Null, he has a situation in place, and Null's not a perfect individual, but it's a website that has far more rules about that extreme end that we're talking about, right? The extreme end of threats.
Sure.
The whole don't touch the cow mentality, so to speak, whatever happens over there. But there are websites like Website 0, for instance, where Vile was operating, right? Where Vile was putting out information. Vile, who actually commits illegal actions like using federal agents, that should be the website targeted. And it's not as if the FBI can't do anything. They literally arrested a couple of their operators because of the levels of illegal crime that they were doing.
It's not like it's your situation. I'm telling you, like, well, you've had a big problem with Kiwi Farms, but you should be talking about this more important website. That's why I think Keffals is malicious. She had a problem with this more important website, and she took the fight to Kiwi Farms anyways. Yeah.
I mean, I can't defend that. I can't. So I think.
And to not disclose it even after.
But you supported it the whole time, but you were riding for it the whole time.
Like, the criticism is very fair. I mean, you know, there was
the reason why she wanted the Kiwi Farms gone was not necessarily because of the harassment she wasn't receiving the harassment from Kiwi Farms in the sense that what we were told in the public, she was receiving it primarily from Website Zero and the vile group that was actually the one doxing her.
Yeah.
This whole thing is a case of disinformation. There's 4 different versions of the story of what happened on the day she was swatted. There's what website was going after her. There's now a dispute on whether she used the money to get away from an abusive partner or use it to get away from people from Kiwi Farms, both of which are stories that she herself have told, right? So at what point do I not see this as like, oh, this is a person who's obviously gone through a lot and they're making a lot of like extremely bad decisions? Or what point is this person just bad? They're just malicious. They're taking advantage of the good faith they know they can get from a community that doesn't often critique their own.
She has continuously lied to her audience this entire time.
I mean, I just saw a DM of 5 minutes ago. I don't think this is super relevant to like the discussion that we're specifically having, but it's talking about Destiny's wife. Remember when Keffals like walked up and confronted Destiny's wife at TwitchCon? Here's a message from Clara. If I ever get pressed on this again, I'll say, look, I don't think I did that. But even if I did, it was a long time ago and I've grown a lot as a person. That's such a funny response to give to people. Like, I mean, this is a person who knows what they're doing. They have like,
so this, I guess this is like where
problem. Wu is the same. Yeah, the issue is Wu is the same. Wu is the exact same kind of skinwalker.
And this is like where I don't think there's any form of like misconception. The problem with her portrayal of this whole drop Kiwi Farm stuff was, in my research in this entire situation, there are 2 websites that I looked at. Okay, Kiwi Farms for a lot of the archive material, the archive links, not sourcing them as a actual source, but because of the archive links that I pulled up to see screenshots on Twitter. Right, Twitter is still the primary source of a lot of those tweets because that's where they were made. The other website, Website Zero, was where I found all of the information regarding, you know, accounts, information, Uber Eats orders, you know, fucking personal information, not just Clara, but the people surrounding her. The focus was put on Kiwi Farms, and this is the reason it was put on there is because she found it convenient to launch the nuke against there, because if she had gotten Kiwi Farms completely taken down, the video I made cataloging her terrible behavior could not have existed because there would be no archive. We can't pull up those archives on mainstream platforms because a lot of those platforms take down the worst of content. Or they can easily operate mass flagging operations on these sites. You can't do that on Kiwi Farms. So if she was really genuine, and I would have supported her had she gone against Website Zero with all of the bravado, instead she chose Kiwi Farms because it satiated her personal benefit to get rid of all the bad will against her. And this goes for anybody that was critical. I've had some of the biggest... I shouldn't even be saying this. I had a big creator reach out to me on a private DM, and I could have easily slapped them back with some real saucy shit that was sourced right from the farm because all they did was archive it. The reason why a lot of people wanted this site gone is because it held their worst skeletons in the closet. Stuff that would consistently...
Why do you think Wu wants it gone? Why do you think Wu wants the Kiwi Farms gone? Why do you think she agrees with this stuff? It's obvious. Her shit's on there too. All of her history, all the animation stuff. That's exactly why she's taking these positions.
Simply deconstruct their narratives they put out. That's it.
Do you think that's it? I think that's so cynical. I
really...
By me and they some psychic link there. Jesus Christ.
Kiwi Farms is going to be shitting on me. I can't... Look, people will call me a street shitter all day on Kiwi Farms. It's not something that fucking burns me. I've been called that a million. I've been called that since I was a fucking kid.
Sure.
But going on, it might even contain a lot of these sites contain my personal information, but that's not a reason that I go up against them. I try not to give that as much attention as I can.
But Mutahar, this is my issue with your analysis. And I think this is a problem that permeates the space. Like, I have this problem. It's like, there's how can I put this? it's almost like sooner or later you're put into a category, and then everything you say or do is like filtered through this bad faith lens, right? It's seen in this certain way that just makes you assume the worst. And I think
I'll give you an example of why I don't want Kiwi Farms, like why I don't have my like death wish against it. Why I wasn't like why this was an indifferent thing is because I never took money from my community, and that evidence exists somewhere on a server somewhere. You know,
I hear what you're
for
saying.
me, it doesn't matter. Like I can die today and not have to worry about anything bad. I don't have any like fucking in me.
Kuihman, explain the magic behind voodoo.
Explain the magic behind voodoo. I don't. She just comes in. She'll just roll over and be like, "Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong." But and then try and sneak in some other thing, and she just tries to placate and people please so that she can skate by for as long as possible. And it's just ill.
A million times all day, every day. You'll never find any evidence of me fucking talking, you know, salaciously to any minor.
I literally have never read my Kiwi Farms thread because I behave in a way that I tell the truth. I behave with integrity.
Liar, total liar.
I've got stuff on there that's
total liar.
Because I'm a human and I do embarrassing stuff.
Total liar.
But what I'm saying
Absolute
to you is like the bad faith, the really dark interpretation, she's cynically trying to destroy evidence. And I think like the good faith interpretation would be, here are some assholes, they're harassing her. Keffals does have a temper. I've got a temper. She wanted to strike back and destroy them. I think that
but she's doing it by wearing like the trauma equivalent of blackface. She's like recounting all the stories of like
if that's
she's
good
talking
or
about like
bad.
dead people.
I'm saying there's another possibility of what her motives are.
I know, but she's talking about dead people in comparison to her own story that didn't happen. You understand? Like she's like pulling up people who killed themselves and using them as examples why we need to push her story that's not real to take down a website that didn't specifically harm her the way she's claiming.
Sure.
And not actually going after the real perpetrator.
Sure.
And then I asked her about it and she told me, well, I don't think there's enough momentum. So you're thinking about this like it's an op? Is this like a business move? Because that's how she spoke to me.
Yes,
that's what I got from this.
Yeah.
Is that this is all fake. It's all fabricated.
And Wu's the same. And Wu's the same. Dude.
You know, I'd have to look more into that story.
I'd have to look more into it.
Feel with her
With you,
situation.
Brianna,
Absolute silence.
the whole video. Don't watch that last quarter like I told you to. Watch the entire video.
I watched the whole video. I watched it twice. I just
you said you listened to it. You said you listened to it. I did listen to it.
I did listen to it.
Yeah, you need to sit down and actually watch it with your eyes, because what he shows, you're gonna see that she has been a constant liar this entire time, and she has played the fuck out of every single one of y'all.
So to be fair, Mutahar, you cribbed a lot of that stuff from Destiny's video, which I've seen a lot, or at least it contained the same information. So that was part of why I listened to it. Because
one of the reasons,
30 minutes,
that was so. Yeah. Usually, I'm like one of those guys where I'm like, I don't care if you watch or listen to my videos, but that's a video that I highly recommend you watch, because that was the one video where it's like fucking we saw screenshot after screenshot after fucking screenshot. And
fair enough.
I was meticulously going and slapping those up on the screen just so that, because my whole thing is, look, I don't like to make a video that's like bad faith, or I don't like to make a video where I can go with a narrative that I can't necessarily prove. Look, videos of mine, I could probably have an inconsistency or two because, again, not perfect, and obviously this situation involved other writers, other researchers. This is the first time I actually had to like work with a few people to make sure we were all checking each other. So, you know, there may be an error or two, but so far in the last 2 days, there hasn't been anything that's been found out. But, you know, hey, look, we dug up everything that we can to put on the screen, and we showed that it was pristine, untouched archive links, just so people can read through and see a proper timeline. Because I really feel like she has been so bad faith in talking about the situation. There were clips from the H3 podcast that I showed where she wasn't pressed hard enough in talking about these situations at all. And she needed to have been pressed at the time. And this is a situation where now the story is amassed together in an hour and 33 minutes. And I feel that it's in a perfect way where nobody has to sift through 400 pages of like, you don't have to touch the fucking Kiwi Farms if you think your computer is going to get like fucking transphobic.exe through it in some capacity. Okay, you can watch a video and get it all right there. So this is a situation where I really think like we've built a case against this one person, and I don't feel like anybody in this community should be running a cover. If this was the gaming community and this was like the Mama Max of the community, there's no way anybody can defend the guy. You know,
I hope it doesn't come across as I'm defending her today. I mean, I feel like I've said over and over, I think there's some really fair criticism here.
You've been saying, well, maybe she wasn't doing it for money. Maybe she wasn't being like. I just think she's a very misunderstood person. That is defense. Yeah.
God, maybe it's just like she's going after me the other day publicly on Twitter, and I just let it go, and I chalk it up in my head as she's going through some tough stuff. Maybe that's just my own.
Did you see the screenshot that I leaked?
Yes, I did. I was really pissed off about that.
Because it's funny because I saw you defending Tipster and them, and I'm just wondering.
Did I defend Tipster?
I think so. In the past.
In the past, I have.
Well, that's what I mean in the past, and it's like I wonder what they were thinking about you.
Yeah, it really hurt my feelings, to be honest with you.
Well, we have common ground on that one.
I feel like I've genuinely tried to be the best friend to her I can, and I think that really made me feel hurt, to be honest.
Brianna, guess what? Your best friend, or the best friend that you could be, guess what? The best friend that you could be to her, she fucked you over and lied to you for years, homegirl. Okay?
Oh my God. I really feel like if you want to be
this is so
cringe. She doesn't have to respond to anything to me. I really don't care. But I saw a tweet about that shit. Nobody's begging for any response. Trust me. I said my piece. I move on to the next fucking thing that sticks in my head, or it's on my fucking content dartboard. That's how my brain works. That's how my fucking ideas work. That's it. I don't care so much for a response. I do think the community as a whole, the trans community, should be holding her to accountability over how she's acted, how she's ran some of these ranch catboy servers, and more importantly, how she's actually been operating, like, her money, her GoFundMe. Because look, me and you have both given her money. I gave her like $5. Okay, so fucking I want to see an accountability spreadsheet on that fucking money. Because if it wasn't going towards a legal case with fucking the London police in a way that it should have, then we've got an issue going on. We've got a big problem.
I agree, and I think there's potentially legal liability there. So there it is. Mutahar, before I jump off, I just want to say your last video, you were talking about 501 C4 tax law, which is something I deal with a lot. If you ever do a video where you need more clarity on that, I can hook you up with a compliance person, because there's some stuff in that I thought was a little shaky. Fair enough.
Brianna, before you leave, there's a trans person that's been waiting in call. They've been wanting to talk to you for a while. Is there any way to put in so you can have a conversation with them?
What they want to talk about?
I'm not too sure what I know they're aggravated by you, but
if
I just
I'm
feel
on
like,
trial, I feel like
I just feel like I don't know a whole lot about this. I feel like the whole thing we've been talking about trans stuff for so long. I mean, point of view of a trans person, bring them in and talk to you.
Sure.
If it goes awry, you can always just leave or tell me to kick them out. I'll do it. Or whatever.
Sure, let's do it.
All right. Reese, you're on.
Hello.
Reese, you had some issues.
Who
with,
is this?
Brianna?
Yes, I do. So to start with, you are really, really, really you're being so I don't know what the word is. Sorry, I'm really pissed off. You're throwing the main fucking point of everything. Like, we try and say something about how Keffals is being shitty and talking to minors about HRT. Then you say, oh no, it's about politics behind it. Right now, this whole Muta's video was about Keffals. It's not about the politics to do with this. You keep on deflecting and going on to these other things. And you got to say as well that because we've gone through trauma and addiction, that gives us some fucking a little bit of grace. I'm not being funny, but we are trans. We should know to call out these fucking people when they're doing shit.
I've said on this repeatedly that she needs to be held.
No, but you're still giving her excuses for shit. You're still saying, oh, she's had trauma, she's had this, she's had here with this fucking harm. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't fucking matter. You need to listen to everyone who's talking, not just her and Keffals' little fucking cold. You need to listen to actual other trans people who aren't giving us. Because it seems like that's what you're just giving explanations for her.
Can I please talk? If my opinion on Keffals is more nuanced than yours, I can't pretend that it's not more nuanced. It's my genuine opinion. I think I've answered questions.
You gotta stand up for people like us.
I'm gonna finish
people like us. You keep on fucking interrupting me, dude. Like, for real. You gotta stand up for people like us and stop. Just because Keffals is your buddy, you can't say, oh, just because she's got stuff going on. So fucking what? We call out these people when they fuck up. Pussyfoot around just because she's we're trans. It doesn't fucking matter. Anything that makes stop fucking interrupting me. If anything, that should make us fucking call her out more than other people, because we're not going to sit around and take this shit. When you say stuff like this, it's making all of us look fucking terrible, and we just sit and take this shit. We're sick of it.
I hear what you're saying. I think that anger is very fair. I think it's a point of view that needs to be out there. I think Keffals needs to hear that. I can't pretend that my point of view is not what my point of view is. What I can do here, I think I've answered the questions that have been asked to me today fairly. I think I've hit them head on. And we're talking about the need to police the community, which I fully agree we desperately need. Do you think we do that by leaping to the angriest conclusions, or do you think it's like sitting down and talking this stuff with a little bit of nuance like adults? I actually think that gives it a lot more credibility if you do that. So maybe we just have different personalities, but it's just genuinely who I am.
People have tried to do that in the past. Don't act like you're the first person now to be saying stuff about Keffals. People like me, I've been saying for years how much of a shitty ass person that she is. But it's only now that people are saying stuff because she's done such a bad thing that no one can turn a side eye to it anymore. I'm not being funny. People have been calling this shit out for years, for fucking years, and you people aren't listening to it because you're part of the fucking catboy cult.
Catboy cult? I don't think I'm part of the catboy cult.
Man, come on. I'm not being funny, but you just.
Keffals is someone I kind of know. It's not streaming is just like a bonus mission thing that I do with my job. This is not my job. Keffals is not the center of my life. She's just.
Why are you trying to act like you're like an authority? You're trying to get justifications and reasons for everything she's done. If you're not part of it, then why are you even trying to say shit about it?
I think if
I'm fucking no one. I'm trying to talk to you about it, and you're trying to make this whole fucking bullshit justification.
I don't think I am.
Wait, I'm not being funny, but you're trying to say that you just had addiction problems because of Kiwi Farms. That's given a justification of shit. Is that not?
I think context is not justification. I'm saying this plays into my. You're flaming at me in a really immature way. So I'm going to answer your question. I'm going to answer your question.
Let Brianna finish.
Like a fucking adult.
So this is the thing. If you're talking about this and Keffals has an addiction issue, talking about that context, that's not excusing it. You're doing the exact same thing that the trans rights extremists do, where everything is good or bad or black or white or up or down, and we just need a smarter conversation top to bottom. I am not defending Keffals. I'm trying to explain how I came to my assessment of what's going on with her and what the path forward is.
I had trauma. I didn't make a GoFundMe and stick most of it up my fucking nose.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
You're trying to get justifications.
I'm not justifying.
I'm fucking. Oh my god, this is just ridiculous now.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to say, Reese?
Honestly, I'm sick of trans people like this trying to talk over the fucking rest of us. I'm sick of it. I'm genuinely sick of it. This person can't go around thinking that she's because she's a friend that she knows everything about what's going on. I'm not being funny, but Muta's video was fucking brilliant.
So painful.
You haven't listened. How can you agree if you haven't watched it properly? You haven't listened to. You haven't watched the whole part about Catboy Ranch properly, have you?
Okay.
Okay. Maybe you should watch it.
Yep, I should.
And know about what your little buddy does. And actually call that shit out when it happens.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I think we've reached an impasse at this point.
Okay.
We're just gonna go around in circles.
This is how the trans community fixes itself. You just need to scream until all the bad people go away. That's how we're gonna fix it.
Great, Keffals leaving win. Just saying.
Yeah, but so permitting Keffals for like 3 years, that's the way you win, right? Okay.
All right. Well, Brianna, do you have anything else you wanted to say?
No, thanks for having me on. I didn't know it was going to be this. But,
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on. We didn't know it was going to turn out to be this.
I just didn't want this live to stand where that wasn't my YouTube channel, so I needed to correct that. So.
Come on over to commentary, Beckett. Leave Twitch call. It'll be great over here. Nothing will happen. I didn't bring them fucking with you. You put a fucking tree in, motherfucker.
They followed you, Beckett, okay?
Listen, both you and Xylie are responsible for this shit, and I take no accountability. Fuck this. If Keffals can take no account, I was traumatized. None of this is my fucking fault. Fuck all of you. I'm sad that typing to the guys. I'm just like, I've got PTSD. I have fucking flashbacks. Shit.
I got you, Bestie. Don't you worry. I got it written down right now with the speech on.
Thanks. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for calling in, Rice.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump off.
All right. Thank you very much, Boo.
Thank you, Reese. Great call.
Thank you for having me on. Appreciate you guys.
Reese.
Yes, hello.
You did good.
Yes. True. Thank you, Xylie. I appreciate you. Also, it's not transphobic.
No.
Oh, yeah,
we know that.
To speak for the trans community, I thought I'd say that. Right, peace out. Good stream. Bye.
Bye.
Muta, thanks for calling in, man. Really appreciate it.
Painful.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Very real concerns. Absolutely.
You know.
Teddy with the 999.
Take accountability.
Okay. Well, that's it. That's done. That was horrific. So Brianna Wu went on the Destiny subreddit and posted a screenshot of her own tweet. Destiny was right about Keffals. She posts her own tweet. Her own tweet. This was so important. She had to post it to the DGG subreddit. Her own tweet. Self-posting. Last night, I did a panel with @Keemstar, @OrdinaryGamers, and @Nicholas DeOrio. I showed up to talk about trans healthcare policy for minors, but Keffals became the primary focus. I was trying to give a nuanced view, but I realized it came off as defending actions I have no interest in defending. I woke up this morning and have clarity. I've given her the benefit of the doubt every single turn. I've tried to be the best friend to her that I can be. Because I've also struggled with rehab, extreme death threats, and mental health issues from online harassment. But like she does with everyone else, the friendship is a one-way street. It's stupid to put credibility on the line for someone who literally doesn't care about you, blah, 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 blah. Cockroach noises. Crazy how we went full circle in the Keffals/Brianna Wu arc. From being in Keffals' replies, cheering on Destiny's ban, to completely cutting contact Lamau. One person has integrity, the other does not. 120 art votes. Okay. I'm on your side now, guys. Sure, my behavior hasn't changed, my process for evaluating things hasn't changed. I'm just on your side. I've swapped teams, guys. I've swapped teams. Brianna Wu, we love you and hope that whatever's going on health-wise is mitigated soon. Hope you're okay. It's not going to be, but I genuinely appreciate the kind thoughts. Keep your stick on the ice. We're all pulling for you. Okay.